They say the Pine Barrens hold secrets older than the trees themselves, secrets whispered on the wind and carried in the rustling leaves. But there's one secret that chills the blood of anyone brave enough to venture too deep into those woods. It starts with a screech, a sound so unholy it don't seem to come from this world. Then, out of the shadows it appears, a beast with the body of a demon, wings of a bat, and eyes that burn like hellfire. For over 300 years, folks have sworn it's real. They call it the Jersey Devil. But is it just a story told to keep kids out of the woods, or is something evil still lurking under the cover of them dark, whispering pines? If you think you've got the nerve, sit close to the fire. I'll tell you a tale so strange you might just start hearing things in the night, and praying they don't hear you back. Welcome to Kentucky Melodies America's Scariest Stories. Every Wednesday, we bring you a brand new spine-tingling tale. Whether you're into cryptids, hauntings, or eerie folklore, we've got the chills you're looking for. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us keep the scares coming. Sit back, relax, if you dare, and let the stories take you where the shadows linger. Well now, young'uns, y'all lean in real close, 'cause I got a story to tell that'll send a chill right down your spine. It's about a creature so feared, so strange, it's been stalking the shadows of the Pine Barrens for over 300 years. Some folks call it a devil, others think it's something far worse. But to most, it's known as the Jersey Devil, a cursed child born of dark magic, bad blood, and the whispering pines. Let's start with the place this legend calls home, the Pine Barrens. Now, this ain't your average forest. Nope, this stretch of wilderness in southern New Jersey is thick with cedar trees, swampy bogs, and miles of twisty trails that seem to go on forever. Back in colonial days, folks tried to settle there, but the land was unforgiving. The soil was sandy, not much good for growing crops, and winters were harsh. The Pine Barrens became a place for outcasts, drifters, and folks looking to disappear. Rumors swirled about witches, ghosts, and the strange lights dancing in the night. And at the heart of it all was the tale of the Jersey Devil, a creature born of sin and curses, roaming the woods with a hunger for chaos. Now, the story of the Jersey Devil starts with a woman named Deborah Leeds, though most just called her Mother Leeds. She lived way back in the early 1700s with her husband, a poor farmer, and their 12 children. 12 mouths to feed is hard enough, but when Deborah found out she was pregnant with her 13th, she broke down. "Let this one be the devil," she cried in a fit of despair. Some say it was just exhaustion talking, but others think there was something more sinister at play. Maybe she dabbled in witchcraft, or maybe her words called something dark from the woods. When the baby was born, the night was wild. Thunder cracked like a whip, and the wind howled through the pines. The midwife delivered the baby, and for a moment it looked normal. But then, before their very eyes, the child began to change. Its tiny body twisted and grew. Hooves replaced its feet, leathery wings sprouted from its back, and its face morphed into something that was part goat, part dragon. The creature let out a blood-curdling scream, lashed out at the midwife, killing her on the spot, and then flew up the chimney into the stormy night. Deborah and her family were left shaken, knowing they'd brought something evil into the world. Now, the Leeds family was no stranger to trouble. Deborah's husband, Daniel Leeds, was a bit of a rabble-rouser. He published almanacs that made the Quaker community madder than a hornet in a Coke can. His books were full of astrology and strange symbols, which the Quakers called blasphemous. They started spreading rumors that the Leeds family was in league with the devil. To make matters worse, the family crest featured a wyvern, a dragon-like creature that folks thought was a little too close to the description of the Jersey Devil. Over time, the legend of the cursed child and the Leeds family became one and the same. Not long after the cursed birth, folks began reporting strange goings-on in the Pine Barrens. Livestock were found dead, their bodies mangled and drained of blood. Hunters claimed to hear screeches that made their blood run cold. Tracks were found in the mud, hoof prints, but bigger than any deer or horse. By the early 1800s, even famous folks were claiming to see the creature. Joseph Bonaparte, brother of Napoleon himself, was hunting near Bordentown when he spotted a strange figure in the woods. He said it had wings and glowing red eyes that seemed to pierce the soul. He aimed his rifle, but the thing flew off into the trees before he could pull the trigger. Now, the Jersey Devil ain't like anything you've ever seen or even dreamed up in your wildest nightmares. Folks who've caught a glimpse of it describe a creature so bizarre and terrifying it defies logic. It's a patchwork of features from all sorts of animals, like nature went and played a cruel trick. Let's start with its head. Most say it's shaped like a goat's or a horse's, with a long, narrow face, flared nostrils, and sharp, jagged teeth that look more at home on a predator than any barnyard critter. Its eyes are the stuff of horror, a fiery red glow like hot embers in the dark. Those eyes don't just look at you, they seem to look through you, like the devil's taken a good long measure of your soul. Its body is equally strange. It's slender, almost emaciated, like it ain't never had a proper meal. Covered in tough, leathery skin, or sometimes scruffy patches of fur, it looks like it could shrug off a bullet. Its arms are long and bony, ending in clawed hands that could tear through wood or flesh without much effort. Now, its legs are what throw folks for a loop. They're bent backward, like a bird's, with thick, sinewy thighs that look powerful enough to leap great distances. The feet are cloven hooves, big and sharp enough to leave deep, unnatural tracks in the mud. Its wings are its most frightening feature. They're massive, leathery things like those of a giant bat. When it spreads them wide, it can block out the moonlight, and when it flaps them, the air shudders with a whoosh that you can feel in your chest. Folks say those wings let it move silently, almost like it's gliding on the wind, but they're strong enough to whip up dust and debris when it takes off. And then there's the tail. Long and whip-like, it ends in a forked tip that lashes back and forth like it's got a mind of its own. Some folks claim it uses that tail to knock over fences or even snatch up smaller animals. When the Jersey Devil moves, it's as if it's both graceful and unnatural at the same time. It can gallop like a horse, spring into the air like a bird, or crawl through underbrush without making a sound. And its screech, Lord help you if you hear it. It's been described as a mix of a woman's blood-curdling scream, a wolf's howl, and the wail of a banshee. That sound alone is enough to freeze a grown man in his tracks. Put it all together, and you've got a creature that don't fit into no category. It's part beast, part bird, and all terror. Whatever the Jersey Devil is, one thing's for sure. It ain't natural. And it ain't something you'd want to meet on a dark, lonely night in the Pine Barrens. The Jersey Devil's most infamous rampage came in January of 1909. For one whole week, folks across New Jersey and even in Philadelphia swore up and down they saw the creature. In Haddon Heights, it attacked a trolley car, leaving claw marks on the roof. In Camden, police fired their guns at a shadowy figure flying through the air. In Bristol, Pennsylvania, a group of townsfolk claimed it terrorized their farm animals. Panic spread like wildfire. Schools closed, businesses shut their doors, and folks armed themselves with whatever they could find. Hunters roamed the Pine Barrens, but no one could catch the creature. By the end of the week, the devil had vanished as quick as it had appeared, leaving nothing but fear in its wake. Now, you might think this is all just old tales, but the Jersey Devil ain't gone nowhere. Sightings keep popping up, even in recent years. In 2015, a fella named David Black was driving near Route 9 when he saw what he described as a llama-looking creature standing by the road. Before he could get a good look, it spread bat-like wings and flew off. He managed to snap a photo, but folks can't agree if it's real or just a hoax. In 2020, more folks claimed to hear eerie screeches in the Pine Barrens, and a few even said they saw something moving through the trees late at night. It's enough to make you wonder if the devil's still out there, watching and waiting. So what is it, really? A cursed child? A creature from the wilds, or just the imaginations of scared folks? No one knows for sure. But one thing's certain. The legend of the Jersey Devil has dug its roots deep into the Pine Barrens, just like them old cedar trees. So now you've heard the tale, the cursed birth, the dark history of the Leeds family, and all the strange sightings that stretch from the 1700s to today. Folks from all walks of life have claimed they've seen the Jersey Devil, from farmers to hunters, even city folk just passing through. And yet, after all these years, no one's ever caught it. No one's ever proven it's real. So what do y'all think? Is the Jersey Devil just an old wives' tale, something folks dreamed up to explain the unexplainable? Or is there something out there, hiding in the shadows of the Pine Barrens, watching and waiting? Have you ever had a moment when the woods felt too quiet, or maybe heard a screech that didn't sound quite right? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe in the Jersey Devil, or is it just another spooky campfire story? Drop a comment below and let us know your take on this centuries-old mystery. And if you've got a story of your own, well, we're all ears. Just remember, next time you're walking through the woods, keep your eyes open. And don't forget to look up. You never know what might be looking back at you. Well, that's all for now. But the world is full of stories just like this one. Tales of things that go bump in the night, curses that never die, and creatures that defy explanation. If you're hungry for more, stay tuned to the Kentucky Melodies America's Scariest Stories podcast playlist, where we explore the darkest corners of folklore, cryptids, hauntings, and more. We release new episodes every Wednesday, so there's always something to keep you on edge. While you're there, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a story. We'd hate for you to wander off into the unknown without us to guide you. The Pine Barrens might seem quiet, but the Jersey Devil's been out there for centuries. They say it's always watching, always waiting. So if you find yourself alone in the woods one night and the air grows cold, don't bother running. After all, you can't outrun what you can't see. But it sure can see you. See you next time, folks. Y'all make sure to keep close to the fire, and don't let your imaginations get the better of you. Or maybe, just maybe, it ain't your imagination at all.